Digo everyone, I'm IrishAnimeFan and welcome to the Classic Anime Guide. This is a series where we take a look at some of the most popular, acclaimed and beloved anime of all time, and we just talk about why they have this sort of reputation in the first place, and just in general talk about how great they are. There are many series we could be talking about right now, but for this introductory episode, I'm going to tackle something big. Something that has greatly impacted anime as a medium and is still being discussed even to this day, even after it's been around for over 20 years now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to get in this goddamn robot. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about the iconic Neon Genesis Evangelion, a series that has become a must-watch for any anime fan and has spawned one of the most popular anime franchises of all time. Why does it continue to make an impact on so many people even after all these years? Well, to find the reason for this phenomenon, we're going to have to stem all the way back to its inception. In 1990, following the completion of a previous Gainax show, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, director Hideaki Anno was not in the best of places at the time. Anno had very little creative control over Nadia's production, and the many projects that he was attached to, including Uru and Blue, a sequel project to the Royal Space Force film, failed to get off the ground. With this constant cycle of failure, along with his low self-esteem, Anno subsequently fell into a 4-year-long depressive state. In 1993, however, Anno was brought forward in a collaboration between Gainax and King Records, and they promised Anno that they would greenlight any idea that he had pitched to them. Even if Uru and Blue's production had ceased, Anno decided to integrate one of its key themes into his current project, that theme being not running away. And so, Anno had this desire to create a mecha story about, well, not running away. Many writing and structural techniques that were used in production were also used from other series that Anno had previously worked on. He also drew inspiration from other anime and other fictional works that he admired. Along with Anno's growing interest in psychology, philosophy, and mental illness, this wasn't going to be your average mecha story. However, many ideas that were proposed in the original drafts had to be changed or, in some cases, scrapped entirely. Anno initially wanted the series to be called Alcyon in order to give a religious tone, but that was ultimately rejected. He had also intended a female protagonist to head the story, but that was scrapped in favour of a male protagonist. Further alterations to the plot were made, one of which included changing certain plot elements following the Tokyo subway sarin gas attack in March of 1995. The producers thought that the events of the attack and the events that happened in the original script would cause too much controversy, so they had to censor themselves. Changes to the original script continued even as they were running close to episode deadlines and Gainax were facing budget restraints. By episode 13, the story had started to deviate from its original plan, and eventually, by episode 16, the tone of the series had shifted drastically. In 1994, while the series was still in its production cycle, Anno contacted character designer Yoshiyuki Sadamoto to release a manga adaptation before the series actually aired. Little did they know that the first episode aired about 10 months after the first volume of the manga was released. Yet, after all those months in production hell, this project, known as Neon Genesis Evangelion, would now be finally seeing the light of day. Neon Genesis Evangelion was an anime original series that spawned 26 episodes that aired from October 4th, 1995 to March 27th, 1996. It was written and directed by Hideaki Anno and produced by Studio Gainax. It's been 15 years since the event called the Second Impact caused a global apocalypse, and the city of Tokyo 3 is being bombarded by dangerous beings from the outside world known as angels. The last hope that humanity has is in the organization NERV, led by Commander-in-Chief Gendo Ikari. Their main job is to create Evas, giant fighting robots that are designed to protect the city against the angels' threat and to prevent a third impact. 14-year-old Shinji Ikari is chosen to pilot one of the Evas by his father's will. After much deliberation, Shinji reluctantly agrees to become the third child to pilot the Eva series. Under the watchful guidance of Chief Operations Officer Misato Katsuragi and Chief Scientist Ritsuko Akagi, and battling alongside the other children piloting the Evas, such as the aloof first child Rei Ayanami and the complacent yet officious second child Asuka Langley Soryu, mankind's fate is weighing upon Nerve's shoulders. However, as the pressure builds and the more desperate their situations get, the more their deepest, darkest, and most psychologically damaging realms of their minds unravel in front of us. Upon its release, NGE, while it was praised for its deconstruction of the mecha genre, deep psychological imagery, religious themes, and its introspective character studies, there was still a fair share of controversy surrounding the series. As it became more popular in Japan while it was airing, the more complaints Gainax had received for being unsuitable for younger audiences. So as the series was gradually getting more graphic and complex, the broadcast staff had to move the series to a later time slot, even though Anno himself was against this. However, the most well-known controversy that the series struggled through was with its final 2 episodes. As the production staff ran itself further into the ground with their deadlines, they decided to abandon the original plan for the ending and rewrote it in a way that took place in the characters' minds while cutting costs on the budget by using abstract yet limited animation. The audience reaction was polarizing, to say the least, with some fans stating that they felt alienated and betrayed by the ending, and some even went as far to send death threats directly at Anno, and to even graffiti the walls of Studio Gainax. They tried to remedy this by releasing the end of Evangelion on July 19, 1997, but that arguably made people even more confused. I would talk more about the end of Eva, but if I did, we'd be here all day, so maybe for another time. But apart from that, the series as a whole has reveled in its share of acclaim, spawning one of the most popular anime franchises of all time. It has also garnered a lot of awards and accolades during and after its initial run in the 90s. In 2006, a Japan Media Arts Festival survey with over 80,000 people signing up for that survey ranked the series as the most popular anime of all time. Its biggest impact on anime, however, is the fact that it was responsible for ushering in more mature series, ranging from shows that were directly inspired by Evangelion like Razafon to other mindfuck-oriented shows like Serial Experiments Lain, as well as the countless of tributes and homages made by other fictional works to show their gratitude for the series. Neon Genesis Evangelion has become a pop culture juggernaut. For a lot of fans, Neon Genesis Evangelion holds a very special place in their hearts. Sure, many people out there won't hold it in such high regard, and that's fine. But regardless of what you think of Eva, you cannot deny the massive impact it made on anime. Even before the series has its big shift in tone, it still contains some very fantastic moments. While the animation does cut corners on more than several occasions, but from what we know, I don't really blame them for that, it still shines during the action set pieces. And for the fact it was made in 1995, a time where Japan's global recession was really taking its effect on anime, it still looks really good for its time. The music is also a great highlight, evoking many feelings of grandiose within you. Its pieces ranging from driving and exciting to more melancholic and introspective. Also, it has one of the best anime openings ever. Just saying. But by far, the story and characters are the most impressive elements Neon Genesis Evangelion has to offer. As a deconstruction of the mecha genre, Anno takes advantage of this to create situations and an environment on the brink of destruction to great effect. The fact that they're using children to pilot these giant fighting machines and putting them in life or death situations shows the signs of a bleak and hopeless future for mankind. But it's their only hope for survival. Every primary character in the series not only has the weight of humanity's outcome on their shoulders, they are also dealing with their own personal struggles in their own lives, and they have become damaged because of that. And the characters that would typically be portrayed as certain character archetypes has now flourished into multifaceted and complex people. And that treatment has resonated with every character here. And I know I'm gonna get bombarded with people disagreeing with me here, but I actually do like Shinji Ikari as a character and the type of arc he goes throughout the series. And I think his actions are justified for the kind of person he is. For the most part, at least. But to completely write off Shinji's character as just somebody who just whines all the time for no reason is, in my opinion, completely missing the point Anno was trying to make. None of these characters, despite how some of them act, are not set out to be elegant badasses that the fans have seen for years in other widely known mecha anime. They're human, riddled with problems and insecurities, just like the rest of us. As someone who has dealt with depression for a decent amount of time, I find Anno's effort to weave a story to help him cope with his battles against his own depression absolutely cathartic and consoling. And to think that what came out of such a dark period, not just in Anno's life, but with Gainax's as well, with constant budget restraints and episode deadlines not being met, emerged a profound, groundbreaking, artistic, and ultimately one of the most important anime of all time. The fact that people are still analysing and discussing what it all means, even after over 20 years of it being released, Neon Genesis Evangelion will be remembered for many years to come. To anybody watching this video and wondering whether the series is worth checking out, obviously it's worth checking out, but you have to know what you're getting yourself into before diving headfirst into that pool of LCL. I'll admit, as much as I love Eva, it's definitely not for everyone. Almost everything in the series is provocative and packed with symbolism, so there will be moments where you will get lost, and it doesn't always provide you with clear-cut answers, even when you need it the most. But even as frustrating as that might be for some of you, I still urge you to give it a chance. It challenges you to find your own answers, and if you manage to branch out of your mind's own comfort zone, then you should find your own way out eventually. To quote Anno himself, "Evangelion is like a puzzle, you know? Any person can see it and give his or her own answer. In other words, we're offering viewers to think by themselves, so that each person can imagine his or her own world. We will never offer the answers, even in the theatrical version. As for many Evangelion viewers, they may expect us to provide the All About Eva manuals, but there is no such thing. Don't expect to get the answers by someone. Don't expect to be catered to all the time. We all have to find our own answers." And with all that being said, Neon Genesis Evangelion rightfully deserves to be called a classic anime. Congratulations. How do you feel about this?
I'm so fucked up.
Oh, we know, but we still love you for it. Anyway guys, that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. If you want to see more content like this, because I do plan on making this a series, then please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you can be notified whenever I upload another video like this. But anyway, I've been IrishAnimeFan, and until next time, Slán.